All right, universe, morning. We're on to episode 2, and yeah, I'm excited for this one because now we're starting to actually like talk about the running and not like what's happened before. So excited. Got 2 weeks worth of running in so far. The first week got about 35.4 miles in it, about 35 miles. It's about 253 minutes worth, so it's about an average of 710 per mile. So nothing wild. About 1,500 feet of elevation. So again, nothing much. Try to keep all my runs around 30 minutes. So have them all listed. Monday through Friday, doing an AM and a PM run. Just getting used to adding more mileage without trying to make the runs too much longer than 60 minutes. During the summertime, I sweat so much that my shoes get so wet that it's actually, I think it's probably dangerous. And I'll definitely get some video footage of this evidence because I really don't think people understand like how much I sweat. Like, people say they sweat a lot, and then I'm just like, no, you don't. So that'll be in the future episodes. But again, 30 minutes. The first one was a fasted run that went better than I thought, and then 5 minutes in the afternoon. Definitely keeping these doubles easy in the first week. Not trying to do more than I need to. Just getting out there, getting the legs moving. Moving the muscles around, getting the tendons loose, ligaments, and everything. And really just about blood flow. One of my favorite runners, outside of Steve Prefontaine, is Grant Fisher. I just think as a runner, we don't deserve such a great role model. He went to Stanford, has a degree in electrical engineering, was able to run and do well within that. I mean, that's like such, oh my gosh, that's just, I've done some engineering math. It's not easy. It's not easy. I can't imagine. I mean, and I think about some like the theoretical stuff, and I'm just like, holy crap! Like, if Frank Fisher can understand this and run, I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. But that's what makes people amazing. Is like we're capable of doing things that, if you don't try, it doesn't even make sense. And let me get a little bit of. I bought these coffee cups about a month ago. One of my better purchases, I think. They're just so adorable. And it makes it so I don't drink as much coffee, so I think that's a good thing too. But again, keeping the doubles easy. So I was thinking, what I wanted to say about Grant Fisher is his coach said, it's all about blood flow. And I've thought about that throughout for a long time. Because when I think about yoga, that's what yoga I think really focuses on, is getting blood flow to areas, restorative healing processes. And again, if I were to think about like what is going on inside of our body, we have these blood vessels, and those blood vessels have things that go out from them to our muscles and ligaments and stuff like that. And inside the blood vessels, we have our blood, and as that's getting pumped through, every time one of those little blood vessels is on the edge, this is just my opinion, I think it's kind of how it works, but it's like, it's almost like if this is all getting pushed through, every time something's on the bottom, it's going to go out through it, and then it's going to kind of just follow in order. So it's just pumping more stuff through, which is causing more and more red blood cells, more oxygen to get to your muscles, to get to your fibers, and that's just causing it to heal more. So the more you can do that, the more it's going to heal. I mean, that's just, my theory. And again, that's why walking's good, because when you walk, you increase your blood flow, you increase, the circulation throughout your body is much more unrestricted. When we sit, right angles are not the best when it comes to blood flow. It's good for some things, but it's not good for other things, unfortunately. Like 100 or a 30-degree angle, that's like nothing. But so that's just something I thought about, and like I said, I think it's really working out really well because I don't feel as overwhelmed as I would have thought, especially dealing with the summer heat in the hills. The hills, the heat, and the humidity. Those three H's. I mean, it's just it's rough. But again, so what Tuesday that day, I think it was just because it was my second day. I just kind of wanted to take it easy, so I broke it up into 3 runs, and I didn't even get to 30 minutes that day, so I added extra 3 minutes the next day on Wednesday. Thursday, just add another little bit to that one, making it a little bit trickier, but trickier, a little bit tougher. But then on Friday, that's when I start to kind of chill a little bit, doing 2 hill strides on at the park that I live by. I'll show you a picture of that in a second. But the hill strides, I think they're maybe like 200-meter strides, I want to say. And so for the first stride, I was at like 6:24 pace, and then the second one was at 5:44 pace. But they're up a hill, so probably like 6-minute pace and 5:20 pace. So nice, just kind of keep getting the legs moving. And then Saturday, that's kind of like my big day for my workout block this schedule, because that's when I do this uphill mile. I've done it before, and it was when I did my best training block. But then I got injured, so I think like 3 weeks before I got injured, or 2 weeks before I got injured, I ran up this hill at about 5:15, which is about a 5-minute flat mile, based off the the gap from the elevation formula. So that's just where I was at, and so I know a good standard to get to. And for my first one, I didn't even get halfway. I didn't even do the whole thing because it started to rain, and right when I started, it just started downpouring. And I'm not trying to run up hills in the rain anymore. So that's just me being a little bit of a wuss, or at least run up fast. So I only did half, about 5:54 pace. So that was felt good, felt nice and easy. So keeping it light. Sundays are going to be the long days. So got in, again, first day, so not too much, just 35 minutes, 36 if you add them up. So yeah, not a bad first week, feeling good. The things I've been doing a lot of, and this week, are doing a lot of more yoga and restorative things that I haven't really felt like I've had time to do, but really it was just me being stupid, because I just lay down for 5 minutes, and then I walk around for 3 minutes, and then I lay down for 5 minutes again, do some little stretchings. And it might take 20 minutes, but I've just noticed already how much of a big difference it gets in terms of just flushing out that bad stuff and kind of loosening up your muscles and getting ready for your it's like a transition from working out to not working out. And when you don't take that transition seriously, that's what makes the next day harder. And the more you care about that transition of going from working out to just kind of chilling at home, sitting, I think it's so much more key than people realize. So that was week number 1. Week number 2, pretty much same thing. We're gonna probably do the same thing for the first 5 or 6 weeks. I did my morning runs, or my early runs, my easier runs this time, because it was raining this week a lot. So I was not trying to push it too much in the morning. So yeah, Monday was definitely a rainy day. That was on the treadmill. I don't like the treadmill. There's at the place I go to, there's 2 treadmills. There's 15 that are all one type, and then there's another one that's another type. And the one that's another type is really good to run on, because you don't bounce at all. It's super stiff in terms of the belt, but it's way faster than it should be. If you run an 8-minute mile pace on that, it feels like a 7-minute mile pace. Like, it's that different. So I like that one because it's a good machine, but then the other ones, it's much easier. So when I do a treadmill workout, I just always feel like I need to set the speed lower, but then I'm missing out on distance. Oh my gosh, that's just such a shame. But about 7:30 pace for that, so not bad. This week I think what I did is I just added 5 minutes to the afternoon and the morning section. But 5 minutes in the afternoon, and then the morning sections, I keep adding on like 1 minute, but sometimes it varies, just because I'm just trying to add on some time. But if it doesn't work, then I'll just add it on later on in the week. But typically it was 35, 12, or I guess, yes, this should have been 8 and 35, and that should have been 9 and 35, and then that should have been 35 and 10, and then 11, and I don't know. I didn't do the best on this week, but they're supposed to go up by 1 minute increments. 30, again, did 40, 10 minutes and 40 minutes. That was probably the first one that got really, really, just afternoon, 40 minutes. I think on this day, there was actually a runner that was in the shade for about 5 minutes, and eventually someone that had been talking to her came over and got some water from me, and yeah, it seemed like they were having a really rough time. It was like 95 degrees out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, no clouds. And, sometimes it's always funny when people tell me to be safe out there. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I've done this since I was like 10 years old. What do you mean be safe? It's not even hot out. But there are people that have not, I've grown up in the Keys. I've lived in this heat. Like, it's not like it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like invigorating. Like, that's what I feel like when I feel the sun. But like, I get a mile into my run and I'm just like, man, it's like, I got to be smart. And then you see some people, it's like, there's no way that I don't know. It's just, but hopefully they're okay. So, Friday went back to doing some hill surges and, going back to the field, and you'll see that in a second. This one went a little bit faster. So 6:07, 5:19. So, again, just trying to pick it up a little bit. Saturday, we went 3/4 of the mile up the hill. I think it actually still rained a little bit that day too. No, that was no. So that was a nice one. But I still wanted to work on going up the increment by increment. So kind of just was like, you know what, another quarter mile is fine. So I just did 3/4 of a mile, which honestly I again felt like a good effort. Afternoon run felt good with 21 minutes, and then starting to get to a little bit longer of a day with a 60-minute sum on Sunday. So that was about 8.3 miles. So not bad, So again, 46.3 miles for week 2, 332 minutes on my feet, and a 7:10 average. So not bad, about 2,300 feet elevation. All these elevations are very much estimations because, Strava, Garmin, I don't know, my watch, it got messed up a long time ago. So let's see where I'm running. So this is kind of like my basic run. This part right here is Carrier Park. So unfortunately, since the storm, it's terrible right now. It's starting to get better. They're just starting to do things that maybe within like a year we'll have, structures that we can use again. Not that I need it, more so for the kids, playgrounds and stuff. So bummer, but I take this nice little. It's about a 2-mile jog, nice and flat, and then I get to this part right here, which is a good bit of a hill. It's pretty steep. It's about 150 feet. You get to this point right here and you think you're almost done, but then it just keeps curling up. Get to this point right here. Haven't taken this route before, so this is my first time doing it, and unfortunately it was a little bit more of a downhill than I wanted. I probably was going like 8:30 pace on this little segment right here, and then through here wasn't too bad, and then I should have gone straight more to this part, but I took a left on a path, which kind of made me have to run through some grass, which I don't like running through grass because there's a lot of groundhogs here and they make holes, and I'm just afraid. I love groundhogs, but another bit of a hill up through that street. I think it was, I don't remember what it was called. And then we get to the kind of like, West Asheville, not downtown area, but like where all the breakfast areas are to eat and stuff. So it's kind of nice. And then it got nice State Street. So I love going down State Street because it's nice and relatively not too hilly. So that's all I'm looking for, is not too hilly. And then a little bit coming back, and then we're good. So this is about I think that was that Thursday. That was that hot run. So that was about a 5-mile run about. All right. So yeah, usually, within my easy days, I just try to get like 1 or 2, maybe 3 big hills in. That's about it. So then now we're down to the park. This is around where I live. And it's nice because this park, they had gravel for the sidewalks, the walkways for a long time, which I don't understand why we would ever think you'd want to walk on gravel if you could walk on, like, I don't know, the ground, like dirt, or I don't know, like a sidewalk. I don't know, but and luckily the storm came, so they kind of had to redo stuff, and I think that's I don't know, maybe we should make it good. I don't know, but they finally put down some like really good sidewalks around these few fields, so that's about a half-mile loop now. That's nice and flat. So that's pretty nice. And then this is the little hill. So again, not too much of a hill, but that's a nice little route. Eventually, this road here, which is the entrance to the park, is the even bigger hill, which eventually I'll start to come down on that eventually. That'll just be for like my long runs. I won't do that for like my hill sprint days. But yeah, nice park, I've run at this park probably 1,000 times in the past like 5, 6 years. So this is just like my second home, I would say. Um, all right, now we're up to the big hill. So again, this is just my kind of like hallmark workout for the quarter for the session the block. A nice little 2 mile warm up, or 20-minute warm up, and then I start the hill right here, and just this one was only 3/4 of the mile, so the hill keeps going up. But again, just a nice simple run, and it's easy to compare week after week. That's why I like it. And then I just had to do this one because again, this is Asheville is a very tricky place to run. This is my neighborhood where I live, and notice that like there's no like like it's just all dead ends. It's all dead ends. It's all dead ends. It's all dead ends. So it's just rough. This looks like a circle, but if you run that twice, your calves will hate you. Like it's like a 50-foot hill, 100-foot. It's insane. This is a nice little parking lot to run around. I found. There's a Home Depot here that's not terrible to run around, even though that's where I got hurt the last time, and that was just probably because I was not doing other exercises that I probably should have been doing, as well as just running around the same spot. I don't know. But yeah, so it's just my neighborhood, and I just love it because this road here is relatively flat. From about this point here to about the arrow, but then there's a hill right here, about a 40-50 foot hill. Then we go over a bridge, go downhill, take a right, and then we go up another 40-foot hill. But then this area all back here is just so nice. The road's so nicely paved, which I know it sounds crazy. You say that a paved road is nice, and yes, a nice paved road in Asheville is almost like seeing. Man, that's a bad joke. I mean, it's just wild. You would almost think like how could there be so few good roads? Like it's not like I understand there's a lot of ways to build a building, but I feel like there should only be so many ways to lay down tar. I don't know, just blows my mind. But luckily, this is a nice route, and it is a decent hill, but it's nice and not very steep. Has a very shallow rise. I don't know, man. I feel like it's a very man. Man, that was a bad one for me, man. It's not steep, so that's about it, and I like it. It's about a 2 mile ish worth here, so I just liked it, and yeah, definitely be doing that, in the future. And I guess the reason why I mention all this stuff is, again, like being from the Keys, I just forget how spoiled I was. Again, this was my house, this was the main road, and this was the main road on the island. And pretty much I could just run up and down this road my whole life. I mean, this was, about a mile. That was another mile. This section was about 2.5 miles. And then I had this little area to run back into if I wanted. But I mean, it's just, which again makes me realize, I don't know why I'm so against U-turns. But then when I went to Orlando, I never had to do a U-turn. I could just run in circles all the time. So again, I just feel spoiled sometimes. I hate dealing with cars. I hate dealing with hills, and I hate dealing with bad roads. Orlando has some great roads. That's why. But I just and again, the bird sanctuary is just amazing. My house was about right. Yeah, about right there. Oh, no. Yeah, about right there. About right there. Yeah. Yeah, all right there. So I go down. I want to say the mile. Man, now that I forget, I feel like the mile. It was halfway to there. I forget now. Actually, it was about 3 miles out all the way. This is about the halfway point. This is where the cars couldn't get past, and that was the part that honestly made it awesome. I don't even remember that the gate being put there. They used to have a cement block here. That's interesting. So they put a gate where the car can't go, but then they took away something that motorcycles could go down. Oh my gosh, man. So I knew friends back in the day that they would definitely drive their cars around, and that it was bad. But it was just, it was amazing. And, you just eventually got to the end of it, which is about a mile and a half from that gate. And I mean, it was just amazing, being a kid back in the day, 14, 15 years old, running back there, not there'd be no person within a mile distance of you. It's just amazing. And I think some of the moments of my life that I'll never forget are just going back there and just thinking about what happened. Like, why was this here? Like, again, there was a dirt road that went up, I guess, north. I don't know. And you could definitely tell there was like a road in the ground. Like, I mean, and I mean, that's the thing about the Keys is there's so much history to them. Like, and I don't know, just blows my mind sometimes. Makes me really appreciative that I got a chance to kind of see that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I said, episode 2 is going well. I'll definitely be quicker at getting up the episodes, and with this one, I want to kind of finish off just showing a little bit of a yoga, video. I feel like that'd be something to kind of show you that, I'm just doing very basic things. Laying down, doing some calf stretches, moving my, getting some hip mobility in, toes, ankles, and realizing just doing that for like 5 to 15 minutes, it'll blow your mind. I think that's just something that, I've done it and I've gotten the results, but then I stopped doing it, and I'm just realizing now again how much better it is. And yeah, so awesome stuff. Can't wait. We'll get episode 3 out much better, much quicker, better and quicker. That's the goal. All right. So hope you enjoyed episode 2, and don't worry. I got a race planned for the end of August, and we might do one more time trial before then. So we're gonna start getting some good stuff in. The more I do this, the more I'm gonna, get like ingrained with it. It's just gonna be so much more consistent, and I want to do a good job trying to make the videos different, to make them better, but eventually, like, I think you'll see that's gonna be nice and smooth, nice and consistent, nice and continuous, maybe even differentiable. So that means it can't be sharp. It's got to be curvy. Well, it might be different. It might not be differentiable. All right. Well, all right. So have a nice day, and this is the Rave and Run podcast, episode 2. Well, if it's a golden retriever, I'll let it slide. But if it's a golden retriever, we'll let it slide. Oh. It's like, oh. Oh gosh, the dog is adorable.
slippery.